Hi everyone, happy Tuesday. I'm here with your Tuesday afternoon yoga. So as always, all you need is your mat and some water. So feel free to take breaks throughout to grab a drink if you need it. Please make sure that you work at your own level. So if there's anything that I'm doing that you are not super comfortable with, just always go back to the last place that you did feel comfortable and then jump back in when you can. You can take breaks whenever needed. We are going to get started over on our mats, so grab what you need. Come on over. Feel free to play your own music on your end. I won't be playing any music here. So if you'd like some background noise, please feel free to turn that on as well before you get started. So we are going to get started just lying on our backs. So we're going to come all the way down into a reclined position. And we are going to start out by pulling both feet in. So our feet are just placed on the ground, and we're just going to let those knees rock side to side from our reclined position here. Good. Then you can just let both knees fall off to one side and just let them stay there. Let those knees rock side to side a few more times before we land on our other side. And we can land on our second side here. Just kind of letting our hips settle into that stretch. Bring those knees back up through center. We're going to pull both knees in towards our chest, and we're going to just start to draw circles on the ceiling with both of those legs here. Just getting that nice massage out for our lower back. And taking those circles the other direction. Bring those knees back through center. From here, we're going to take it into a forward and back rock. So we're just following along the line of our spine, just doing 3 or 4 before eventually coming all the way up to a seated position. So from here, we are going to continue forward onto our hands and our knees. So coming into that tabletop position. And we're going to come into a few cat-cow stretches. So hands are lined up, or wrists are lined up underneath our shoulders, knees lined up underneath our hips. We're just going to tuck our chin, tuck our tailbone around, that back up. And we'll reverse that, dropping our belly button to the floor, looking straight ahead, scooping out through that back. Tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone around, your back up. And drop that belly button to the floor, scooping out through that back. Do that one more time. Tuck the chin, tuck the tail, and drop that belly button towards the floor. And come back into that neutral spine. So from here, we are going to bring one hand up onto the side of our head. We're going to point that elbow up towards the ceiling, and then come back down towards the floor. Do that a few more times on this side. Point that elbow up and look up, and back down. Point that elbow up, look up, come back down. One more time on this side, and back down. We're going to switch sides here. Hand to the side of the head, point that elbow up and look up, and point that elbow back down towards the floor. Point up, look up, and come on back down. Point the elbow up, look up to that elbow. And one last time here, point that elbow up and look up. And return that hand back to our start position. So from here, I'm going to have you bring your shoulder and hip together on one side. So kind of like you're looking back at your back ankle, closing that distance off between the shoulder and the hip. and come back through center. Come over to the other side, shoulder and hip coming closer together, and back through center. A few more times. Shoulder comes towards the hip, and back through center. Shoulder towards hip, and back through center. So from here, we are going to come into our first forward fold. So we are going to kind of tuck our toes underneath. We're going to pop up into a plank. And we're going to start to walk those feet in towards our hands. So we're coming into a forward fold here. And in our first one, bend into your knees as much as you need to kind of get those fingertips or those hands flat on the floor. And then start to straighten up through your legs as best you can. From here, we're slowly going to round through our lower back and slowly inch our way up to a standing position, rolling those shoulders out at the top. Good. From here, we're going to inhale, lift those arms up overhead, reach those fingertips up to the ceiling, and then we're going to dive forward. Let those hands sweep down towards our feet into that forward fold. Halfway lift, hands slide up the shins, back flat. Lower all the way back down. Hands to the mat. We're going to step our feet all the way back into our high plank. We'll drop to the knees. Keep your elbows in nice and close and lower all the way down to the floor. From here, just a little chest lift, looking straight ahead. Lower that chest back down towards the floor. We're going to push back up onto our knees, tuck our toes under, and from here we're going to come into our first downward facing dog. So creating that upside down V shape. Let's walk out through our feet here. Just feeling that stretch coming up through the calves and through the hamstrings, alternating sides, walking out through those feet. We're going to go through again, but we're going to kind of ramp it up a little bit this time as we go through. So you can either walk or step your feet in, or you can look to the space between your hands, bend into your knees and jump your feet towards your hands, coming into that forward fold. From here, inhale those arms all the way up overhead, and exhale the arms down to your sides. From here, let's inhale those arms up overhead, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands slide up the shins. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, step or jump the feet back, lower down. Inhale, baby cobra or full extension of the arms into up dog. And exhale into downward facing dog. Nice job. We're going to hold here in our downward dog for a few breaths before we go through again. From here, let's look to the space between our hands, step or jump the feet in, forward fold. Inhale, arms come up overhead, and exhale, arms down to our sides. Go through one more time. Inhale those arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands slide up the shins. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, step or jump the feet back into high plank and lower down through chaturanga, elbows staying nice and close. Inhale, baby cobra or up dog. And exhale into downward facing dog. Walk out through those feet if you'd like. We're going to hold here for a few breaths. From here, we are going to come into a three-legged dog. So we're going to take one foot off the ground. We're going to bring that heel up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to bend into the knee of that extended leg, and we're going to drive that knee forward to hover in between our hands. Hold here. Press that heel up and back, three-legged dog, hold. Drive that knee forward to hold and hover. Push that leg all the way up and back, three-legged dog, hold here. This time, as we bring that knee forward, let's step that foot in between the hands. And from here, just a little step in on that back leg. So we're coming into about a 45-degree angle on that back foot. Heels are in line with each other. We're going to windmill those arms up and around, coming into warrior two. From here, let's come forward over that front leg. So we're bending into that front arm, resting that arm on our leg. Other arm is reaching up towards the ceiling, coming into an extended side angle. Now from here, if you can reach overhead with that extended arm. And we'll hold here. Windmill those arms back up through warrior two. And we'll rotate that palm on that front hand to face up towards the ceiling. Back hand to the back leg, reach up, look up. Come back through warrior two. We're going to straighten out through that front leg. Reach as far forward as we can on that front arm, and then rotate so that hand is coming to the inside of that forward leg. Other arm is reaching up overhead as you slide that hand down that front leg. You can look up to that top hand, or if that makes you lose your balance a little bit, it's a little bit trickier. You can look down at your foot instead. I'll make it a little bit easier to keep your balance here. We'll come back up through warrior two, so we're bending into that front knee again. We're going to rotate that back leg, so we're coming up onto our toe as we rotate to face the front, coming into a low lunge here. So arms are overhead. From our low lunge, let's push off that back leg to balance on our front leg, coming into warrior three. If you need to, you can place your hands on the ground. From here, let's step that foot back, coming back into our low lunge, hold here. Push off that back leg, warrior three. Step that foot back, back into low lunge. We're going to do that one more time. Push off that back leg, warrior three. And then from our warrior three, let's just hinge at the hip, step the feet together, coming back into our mountain pose. From here, let's inhale those arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, step or jump the feet back, coming into high plank. Exhale, lower down through chaturanga. Inhale, baby cobra or up dog. And exhale into downward facing dog from here. Walk out through those feet if you'd like. You can take this opportunity to grab a drink if you need it. And from here, we are going to switch over to that other side. So we're going to extend that leg up and back, coming into three-legged dog. Bend into that knee, drive knee forward, hold and hover. Push all the way up and back, three-legged dog. Drive that knee forward, hold and hover. Three-legged dog, push up and back. Drive that knee forward, hold and hover, last time. Push that leg all the way up and back, three-legged dog. This time we're going to step that foot through the hands. And then we're going to take a little step in on that back foot, rotating so that we're on that 45-degree angle. And then we're going to windmill those arms all the way up and around, coming into warrior two. From here, we're going to bend into that front arm, resting that front arm on that front leg. The other arm is going to reach up overhead, coming into extended side angle. If you'd like, you can extend that arm overhead as well. Windmill those arms coming back into warrior two. Rotate that front hand so that palm is facing up, back hand on the back leg, reach up, look up. Come back through warrior two. We'll straighten out through that front leg. Reach as far forward as you can on that front arm, and then rotate into triangle. Come back up through warrior two, so bend into that front knee again. And then from here, we're going to rotate our back foot into our low lunge, arms coming up overhead. From here, we're going to push off that back leg, coming into warrior three. So if you need to, use those arms for balance. So you can have them on the ground, you can have them on your hips, or any other variation that makes it easier for you to balance. Step back into that low lunge, arms coming back overhead. Push off that back leg, warrior three. Step that foot back, come into that low lunge. Last time, push off that back leg, warrior three. And then hinge at the hip, step your feet together. Walk out through those feet a little bit if you need to. From here, inhale those arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands slide up the shins. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, step or jump the feet back and lower down through chaturanga. Inhale, baby cobra or up dog. And exhale into downward facing dog, hold here. Nice job, walk out through those feet. Hold here for a few more breaths. We're going to shift back into our high plank. And from here, we're going to work through a few of our chaturanga push-ups. So getting used to having those elbows in nice and close to the body. So if you need to drop down to your knees at any point, feel free to do so. Basically what we're going to do is start from this tall plank position, keep our elbows in nice and close, and let's lower slowly all the way down to the ground. As slow as you can. When you're down, you can extend through your feet. Little cobra just to kind of release a little bit here. Lower your chest back down, tuck your toes, and then from the floor, try to press yourself all the way back up to your tall plank. Hold at the top. We're going to go again From our tall plank, elbows in nice and close. Let's lower slowly down to the ground. Full release at the bottom, extend through the feet, lift the chest up. Lower your chest back down, tuck your toes under from the floor, press back up. Let's do that one more time. Holding your plank for another moment here. Last time, lower as slow as you can. Elbows in nice and close. Full release at the bottom, extend through your feet. Little chest lift. Lower your chest back down. Tuck your toes. Last time, press all the way up to the top. And into your downward dog. Nice job. Walk it through those feet a little if you need to. If your arms need a break, feel free to come back into child's pose. You can drop your knees, sit back on your heels. From here, let's come back into our high plank. And from our high plank, we're going to drop down onto our forearms. So elbows are underneath shoulders here. And from here, we're going to push our hips up and back again like we were going to do a downward dog, but from our elbows. Once you've pressed your chest as far back as you can start to walk those feet in a little bit more towards you. Just tenting those hips up a little bit more. Hold here. And start to walk those feet back out if you walked them in. Back to our forearm plank. From our forearm plank, let's walk back onto our hands. And hips up and back, downward dog. From here, let's come into three-legged dog. We're going to bend into that knee and then rotate that hip open. Bring those hips back center. Let's step the foot through the hands. So we're in our low lunge here. Our back leg is lifted. From here, we're going to keep our opposite hand on the ground and then rotate our arm that's on the same side up overhead. So we're turning our body towards that front leg. Bring that hand back down to the ground so you've got one hand on either side of that front leg. We're going to step back into our plank. From here, let's lower down through chaturanga. Baby cobra or up dog. And exhale into your downward dog. From here, three-legged dog other side. Bend into that knee, rotate that hip open. And step that foot through. In your low lunge, rotate towards that front leg. Bring that hand down so our hands are on either side of our front foot. Let's step that foot back, coming back into our high plank. Lower down chaturanga, baby cobra or up dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. From here, let's press those hips forward so we're back into our high plank again here. From here, I'm going to have you lower down through chaturanga, press back up, walk one hand into center, rotate into a side plank. If you need to drop that bottom knee, that's always an option. Rotate back through center, walk that hand out. Chaturanga push up. Walk your other hand in. Side plank, other side. Rotate back through center. Lower down through chaturanga. Baby cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, hold here. From here, let's lift one leg up, three-legged dog. We're going to drive that knee forward, land the knee behind the wrist on the same side, rotate your foot open, drop your back knee down, extend through your back foot, and we'll slide that leg a little farther back, coming into pigeon. So if you'd rather stay up on your forearms, that's always an option. If you'd like to come down a little lower, you can start to lower down onto your forearms. As you start to lower down, think about keeping your hips level. If you'd like to extend down even farther, you always have the option of extending out through your arms, bringing your chest a little closer to the ground. Start to walk those hands back in. Come up onto your hands. From here, we're going to try to press all the way up into three-legged dog first. So let's tuck our toes underneath. Lift the front leg up. Press that foot all the way up and back first. And then land down into downward dog. We'll repeat that on the other side, but first we're going to shift our hips forward, coming into our high plank. Lower down through chaturanga. Baby cobra or up dog. Downward dog. And then from here we'll come into three-legged dog. Drive the knee forward, land behind the wrist on the same side, rotate your foot open. Drop your back knee down, extend through your back foot, and extend that leg back a little farther. Again, you can stay upright here, or you can come down onto your forearms a little bit. Again, as you lower down, trying to keep in mind keeping our hips level. If you'd like to come down even farther, you can start to extend through your arms, bringing your chest a little closer to the ground. Just again, keeping in mind, we're trying to keep our hips level. If you are in that full extension, you can start to creep your arms back a little bit. If you're on your forearms, you can walk up onto your hands. And then from here, we're going to tuck our toes under on that back foot. We're pushing all the way up into three-legged dog first. And then coming back into downward dog. From here, we are going to look to the space between our hands. We are going to jump our feet in, but instead of coming in narrow like we would do as part of our sun salutation, we are going to try to jump our feet out nice and wide, coming into a frogger. So you're looking to the space between your hands, jump your feet in and wide and come right into a low squat hold. So elbows are in, the insides of your knees. We're going to hold here for another few breaths. Holding. From here, you can shift your hips up a bit, bring your hands back down to the mat. We're going to try to jump our feet back, coming back into that high plank. Lower down through chaturanga, baby cobra or up dog, and exhale into downward facing dog. Hold here. We are going to repeat that a few more times. So just holding here in your downward dog. From here, let's jump those feet up and wide, coming right into our low squat hold. Breathe through it, keep holding. Shift the hips, place the hands down, drop the feet back, high plank. Lower down through chaturanga. Baby cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Nice job. We are going to go for one more. Another breath here. On your next exhale, jump those feet forward, out nice and wide, sit right back into that low squat hold. Nice job. I'm going to try to hold a little bit longer on this one. Stay with me. Breathe through it. You got this. Hands to the ground, step or jump the feet back, lower down, chaturanga. Baby cobra or up dog, and exhale into downward facing dog. Hold here. Nice job. From here, we're going to come into another hip opener. So we're going to shift our hips forward and let our knees drop to the floor. So we're starting kind of in our tabletop position. What I'm going to have you do is bring one knee towards your chest, and then you're going to bring that knee kind of around so that the back of this front knee is over top of your other. You're going to shift your feet out to the side kind of as far as you can. Then you're going to start to walk your hands back towards your legs, trying to come to a seat kind of in between your feet. So if that's not happening, you can't get there, feel free to come just into a cross-legged position. Chances are if you're unable to get into here, you're probably a little bit uncomfortable in that cross-legged position as well. So it'll be good for you to sit there as an alternative to this. So we're trying to get our feet to kind of come out wide. Knees are sort of stacked on top of each other. Mine is imperfect, do what you can. And we're just gonna sit up tall here. So whatever leg you have crossed in front, I'm gonna have you bring the arm on the same side just up in front of you so your elbow is bent at 90. Your other arm you're gonna extend out in front of you. From here, you're gonna bring your elbow to the inside of your opposite elbow and try to bring the backs of your hands together. Now, if this is as far as you can go, stay here. If you'd like, you can try to take it a little bit farther by bringing the hands to palms to touch. And we're just going to hold here. A few more breaths. next exhale, you can release those arms. Try to keep in mind which leg you have kind of over top here. We are going to come back around to it on the other side. To get out of this, we're going to bring our hands forward, and we're going to try to push off that bottom leg to walk ourselves kind of back out into that tabletop. We're going to rotate that foot back to center, unclasp those knees, coming back into our tabletop here. From our tabletop, I'm just going to have you come into another stretch in between. So we're going to take one hand off of the mat, and so I'm going to be on the same side as the leg that I was working through. So I'm going to take my right arm, thread it through, bringing that shoulder down to the floor, rest your head down, extend your opposite arm up towards the top of your mat. So I was kind of sticking to the right side for that first round through. So I will cue using my left as a guide as I go through again on my other side. With that hand that's up towards the top of the mat, we'll slide that hand in, press ourselves back up to our tabletop. We're going to go through the other side. So I'm going to bring my left knee in towards my chest, and I'm going to thread it kind of through and around over top of my right leg. So my back of my left knee is over top of my right knee, and I'm going to let my feet come out to either side. I'm going to start to ease myself back, trying to sit in between my feet. So our feet are on either side. I now have my left knee forward. So working through that eagle arm stretch on the other side. I'm going to bring my left arm up. So my left arm is at 90. My other arm is going to extend out. I'm bringing my elbow to the inside of my other arm. Backs of the hands to touch. This is as far as you can go. Stay here. If you can go a little farther, you can try to rotate and wrap those hands to touch. And try to relax into it a little bit. My legs don't line up quite as nicely on this side, but again, do what you can, do what works for you. Again, if you can't get into this at all or can't sit back in between your feet, you can always choose to be in a cross-legged posture as an alternative. A few more breaths here. And we'll release those hands. Bringing those hands out in front of our legs, we're going to start to walk forward. So trying to push off that bottom knee, coming forward here. I'm going to rotate my bottom leg or my right leg to face the back edge of my mat again. Unclasp those legs so I'm back in a tabletop. And then from here, I'm going to take my left arm off the mat. I'm going to thread it through the other side, bring my shoulder and my head down to touch, reach my opposite arm towards the top edge of the mat. Take that hand that's towards the top edge of my mat, slide it down towards my face, press myself back up into my tabletop position. From here, I'm going to tuck my toes under, and I'm going to pop back up into a plank. One last chaturanga push-up here. Baby cobra or up dog. And exhale into downward facing dog. So we are going to transition from here into a seated posture. So if you'd rather just come down to your knees and have a seat, that's an option. If you want to try to jump through, you're going to jump your feet towards your hands as if you were going to come into a forward fold. But instead of having your feet side by side, you're going to cross at the ankle and have a seat. So it looks like this. Bend into the knees, jump the feet through, cross at the ankle, have a seat, extend those feet out. So we're going to do a little core exercise here before we come down into our final relaxation. So I'm going to have you lean back, so hands are coming out in front of you. So back is nice and flat, shoulders are back and down. And you're going to lift your feet up, coming into bow pose. If you can extend out through your legs a little bit more, that is a great option. We're going to hold here. From here, I'm going to have you try to extend your legs out and lean back into a hollow body hold. And then come back up into your boat. Hold here. Extend out, lean back. Back up into your boat. We're gonna do 2 more. Hold here, extend out, hold. Back up. Last time, hold here. Extend out, lean back. And then full release down onto your mat. So from here, we are going to come into our final relaxation. So a couple options here. If you don't want to be in full extension, if that's not comfortable for you, you have the option of pulling your feet in, so feet are flat on the floor. You can also come into a butterfly pose, so bottoms of the feet together, knees drop out to the sides as an option. If you'd like to be in full extension, just have your legs in that extended position, let those feet drop out to the side, rest your arms down at your sides, palms facing up towards the ceiling, and try to just really let go of any tension that you might be holding on to. So not clasping through the hands or making a fist, not forcing your feet to point straight up, just letting those feet kind of drop out, letting go of any tension in your shoulders, your neck, your jaw. So if you're clenching your jaw shut right now, try to release that. Your mouth can be open or closed, eyes can be open or closed. And just take a few minutes to really let yourself sink into your mat. Check in with your body, see if there's anything that you maybe need to pay a little bit more attention to. And just let your breathing come back down to a normal rate. And just try to clear your mind before you move on with your day. So as always, I'm going to kind of let you stay there as long as you would like. And when you're ready, I'm going to give you the tools now to allow yourself to come out of that final relaxation without kind of breaking that relaxation. So again, staying there as long as you want. Whenever you are ready to come out of your final relaxation, you can start to add some movement into the limbs. So you could open and close through the hands, move the feet, wiggle your toes, move your head side to side on the mat, getting a nice massage out through the back of your head. And whenever you feel ready, you can slowly start to turn onto one side and then use those hands to allow yourself to come back up into that seated position. Nice and slow, taking your time, coming out of that final relaxation and doing kind of whatever you need to do to be comfortable there. If you have any questions about today's class, feel free to leave them in the comments and I will get back to you. I will be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. for Power Hour, so feel free to come back and join me then. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Thanks for joining me today. Bye.